Yeah, so my big thing right now to start with is I'm looking at teams with favorable playoff schedules. So I want to see you click on them on Sleeper, Yahoo, whatever. I want to see the teams, the matchups that they have in weeks 15, 16, and 17. I want them to be green, especially for that position. So I would say the three teams that I'm targeting most is players on the Eagles, players on the Bengals, and players on the Bills. These teams have nothing but green in their playoff matchups. I will say I think the Bills might be up against Dallas in the first week of the playoffs, but I kind of feel like the game will be shootouty enough that so long as you're not playing like maybe James Cook might be the only one in that first week that I would avoid. But so long as you're not playing those other guys, I think you're good. The Eagles play the Giants. Oh, sorry, the Seahawks, the Giants, and the Cardinals. That is such a favorable stretch. That could be, especially for players like DeAndre Swift. He was your buy low player last week. And it's looking like upon doing my research, he might be like when we joke about league winner and where that term is applicable or not. In every sense of the word, you can use DeAndre Swift as a league winner. So I'm doubling down on Zach's take from last week. Go grab your Eagles players, specifically DeAndre Swift. I do love the AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goddard. Well, depending on his injury.
Fractured forearm officially.
And
He will
is there
be
a timetable?
no timeline. They assume he's going to be back this season, but I would estimate he's out at least 4 to 6 weeks.
So probably IR, and that's theoretically at the moment back for the playoffs, but ouch. That's going to hurt my Dynasty Superflex
Likely to have
team.
surgery on Monday. The hope is he will be out around 4 weeks. Yeah, after undergoing surgery. So,
ouch. Anyways, so yeah, so Eagles, Bengals, Bengals are up against in the coveted 3 matchups. You're looking at games against Minnesota, which hammer them. Pittsburgh, which right, you'd think, oh, they have a good defense, whatever, but they're green against receivers. And I think that might be where you get them. Their secondary is really weak. Will Levis, despite not throwing any touchdown passes, threw for almost 250 yards last week. And the Chiefs, which again, good defense, profiles to be a shootout. I'm looking at that game as, the revenge for the playoffs last year. So, buy your Bengals, buy your Bills, buy your Eagles as my positives.
do you have any concern for Joe Mixon? I mean, he's had his 2 best games of the season these last 2 weeks: RB7, RB11 against San Francisco and Buffalo.
Good matchups.
Not coincidentally,
right?
has
not good matchups.
Not San Fran, but Buffalo was. Funnily enough, he ran better against San Fran than Buffalo. But regardless,
he fell
2 touchdowns in those games.
Yeah.
But playoffs, he's got Minnesota, Pittsburgh, KC, like you brought up. Minnesota over the first couple of weeks was a really great matchup to exploit, but their defense has come on.
Yeah,
I mean they are stopping the run.
Yeah,
they are blitzing and stopping the run. Pittsburgh also easily exploitable, but then they now have their defensive lineman back. What is his name? Why am I forgetting who that was?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, look up their D tackle for me.
It's not Highsmith, is it?
No. They have their edge rush. Yeah, Hayward. Hayward's back. That'll be much better. And then KC has just been flooring the run game. Like you just don't run against KC. Mm-hmm. So that's 3 weeks in the playoffs that if Joe Mixon doesn't get a touchdown, are you trying to move?
That's actually a good caveat because I really wanted to start this segment as general as I could with Bills, Bengals, and Eagles having good matchups, but that's a good caveat. I think Mixon might be the biggest asterisk out of all of the ones that we just talked about. Yeah, and also too with his age,
you might be able to move Mixon for Swift right now. Like this is possible.
You'd have Swift might be Mixon plus, but I would try.
Swift hasn't outscored Mixon the last 2 weeks. I mean, Swift has been 13-8. Fine, he's on bye this week too, so there is a chance you can make that move
if you have a winning team. And this is one of the things I meant to make this caveat at the beginning. I screwed this up. My fault. You got to make the playoffs in order to win in the playoffs. So if you
have to make the playoffs.
So if you're a desperate, scrapping and clawing for wins team, you might not have the luxury of handpicking your playoff roster. So get there first.